All right, you're with Al, and this is Down the Line. Me and the Biff this week were chatting to Matt Wallace, and I've got to be honest, I'm happy that I've got another Down the Line on because I was getting overly obsessed with trying to absolutely smash my 8-iron as hard as I could, trying to swing it as fast as Padre can swing his 6-iron, which is just ridiculous because I don't think it's physically possible to swing it that fast because I've been doing it a lot, to be honest. So I've given up on that now. I'm not doing it anymore. Come on, smash. Smash, 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 smash. No, can't do it. Anyway, I just want to start by saying massive thanks to Matt for filming this with us because this was early morning for him. He's out in the States. He's got to run a 4 PGA Tour events. So for him to take time out of his preparation to do this with us was brilliant. And I think there's so much in it that players of any standard can take a lot from. I mean, Matt's personality, his mentality towards golf is very much about winning and creating the right processes. And it was just interesting comparing, really, the Biff's process, his preparation for different tournaments compared to Matt's, because everyone's completely different and they've obviously both had success in what they've done. So it was really eye-opening. Matt gave me some personal advice after watching a lot of my videos on things that I can work on, and I think that's relative to a lot of people as well. So we cover so much, from playing PGA Tour, European Tour, being top 50, contending in majors, having a hole-in-one in a major. The main reason though is because Matt played with Tiger in the Open, because it doesn't really get any better than that, does it? So we'll get on with it. Always start with a positive Al. I'm pretty sure Matt's a fan of the channel. Get in.
It's probably the only YouTube channel I watch like one person talking about golf. Like I watched your 6-hole challenge last night.
One person, you don't watch it when he's on, just me.
Oh, cheers.
Well, no, I watch you as well, Biff. And I'm going to start calling you Biff now because you are the Biff.
I know, it's going to stick this and I'm not happy about it.
I was just watching that last night and it's quite entertaining. It's good fun.
Thanks,
I like it because it's like, it's different and it's insightful for everyone, but then it's great. You talk a really, really good game as well. And then you just
talk a good game, mate.
And then you sometimes spew it and I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah. Back to reality here. My favourite part of it is Chronicles of Not Yet a Champion Golfer. Not Chronicles of Not a Champion Golfer.
You're not yet, mate. It's all about positive, Al, Matt. That's what it's about.
Yeah, yes.
Your picture at the moment now, Matt, is just typical tour pro, isn't it? Kind of hotel room, on your own. What's it like at the moment then?
It's very strange to be back at a tournament. Very seeing everyone's so nice to each other. Everyone's like, yeah,
it's just like typical.
You're right. How's the family? How's the kids? I don't have any kids. How's the wife? I have a wife, so they don't know anything about me. But they're just like, you're right. Yeah, good. Yeah.
How are you then? Rubbish, mate.
Well, no, to be fair, you go on with that. Like, no one really knows you. You got a call Mike at the USPGA last year, didn't you? When he made a hole in one.
The biggest moment in my history of golf in America, trying to crack America, trying to come over here, break America, get a hole in one. Jordan Spieth is playing with, and then Tiger's behind, and I'm like, I've made it. And here is Mike Wallace. Oh, thanks. Good time. And Shane Lowry still calls me Mike to this day. Still every day.
I just love the enthusiasm that he had when he said it as well. It was like proper Mike. There was no mistaking it. That is your name. Done. As we're recording this, it's the first tournament back, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're out there for foreseeable the next few events.
With how I've been playing from the end of last year to when we stopped, I was pretty piss poor. I've got to try and keep my card over here.
You've got a full PGA Tour card at the minute. That's not just on World Ranking. That's on.
Yeah, I managed to, out of the events I got last year from World Ranking, I managed to keep my card, which was pretty nice. But I mean, it's very hard to keep your card over here. I've realised. I came third at the PGA. I had a 6th and I had a 12th in a major. So 2 really good events in majors, and finished 108th or something on the money list. So I made a lot of money and played really well, and just scraped in. And I only missed 2 cuts last year. Played like 12 events, and had some really good finishes. And so it's difficult.
On that tour at times, the strength and stuff, well, it's more the depth, isn't it? That's the big difference I've always found. Not that I've played much over there, not as much as you have, but it's like the depth over there that makes it so challenging. Like the top end isn't that much different. It's just that there's 100 guys who can do it that week, not just 50.
It goes all the way down. And especially this event this week, it's a brilliant golf course. It's very old school, very old, quite tight, narrow, dog-leggy. You can take it over some holes nowadays where back in the day you wouldn't be able to. You have to shape it. But this week it plays into anyone's hands. You know, it plays into the shorter hitters. Kevin Na last year. It plays into your bombers. Rosie when he won a couple of years ago. It's a brilliant golf course. But like you say, it's the depth of the PGA Tour. It just goes all the way down, and rookies can win. First timers out here can win. It's just on your week.
Yeah, I think that collegiate system helps with that. Sorry, Al.
I was going to go on to that then. I was going to say, do you think it's something to do with...
Oh, is this your channel, is it? I thought I was asking, is this your channel, is it, all of a sudden?
Can you stop trying to jump in all the time? Just let me speak a second.
I was trying to talk to him. I haven't seen him for a little while. I'm trying to speak to him. Oh, you had one. You asked the question then.
Did you a favour, tried to get you a bit of exposure, and then you're taking over. All right, he's gone. Yeah. Do you reckon the level European Tour is obviously really high standard, as everyone knows, PGA Tour's massive standard. Do you think it's transferable, like in terms of standards, bottom end of the tour, the lads that are just keeping the card? Do you think it's because the type of golf in America is different, and the majority of obviously PGA Tour players are American, brought up playing that sort of golf? Because I mean, I know you went to college in the States, didn't you, for a couple of years?
Yeah, I did a year over here, yeah.
When I was there, I always felt that they were trained to literally just shoot as low as possible, like all the time. Whereas I always thought in the UK it was a little bit more like play a little bit safer was kind of the guidance, keep it steady, don't do too much wrong. Where the golf there is probably more, I suppose, bold is the word, and no one's really scared to shoot low.
I don't think you can shoot really low at the Lytham Trophy. You can't do it in the Open, the boys British and all this sort of stuff. You just can't do it. Well, James Heath did it, didn't he, one year, and he shot stupidly low. But the rest of the time, if you're making pars, you're gonna do well. You're gonna be okay. And the difference when I came over to the States, I remember my first day back, and I was hitting these low drivers and stuff like that, and I was just getting absolutely walloped by these guys sending it high. Yeah. And I was like, well, I've got to change my game. I've got to change my game, because I was hitting it low because of the flight that we had in the UK for wind and stuff like that. So yeah, different ball game. And then you start getting to, right, I can attack pins. I can get up and down from that short side because it's just rough, rather than clammy old stuff that we get at home where it's bare grass or anything like that, where you can't flop it up. So there's different game plans and different ways of playing it. And you're right, like college golf it's amazing now. Like the standard is brilliant. You've got the best players from around the world going to college over here, and they're ready to go straight away. Ready to go as soon as they get out on tour. If they get out on tour, if they're lucky to. Whereas in the UK, they're probably not ready to get out onto tour and play well straight away, because there's guys making birdies for fun, and there's us maybe being conservative and shooting level par is a good round, where it's not going to cut it on the European Tour.
Used to grinding it out, aren't you? That's what you sort of brought, to grind out a score. And there's a skill in itself in being comfortable at 6-7 under par, rather than let's just stick to around level 1 under and keep battling it out. It's a completely different game of golf.
I think we just said there, Matt, like about the golf course we play. You play like Lytham. You're not aggressive off the tee because you hit it in one of those fairway traps and it's almost instant bogey.
Well, it's bogey,
so there's so many golf courses that we play in the UK in these big tournaments on proper links, tough golf courses, that, level par normally gets the job done. So why would you be aggressive? Why would you go and try and chase 65 when you just don't need to? When, like you say, you turn pro, and that was one of the biggest things for me. I went from hitting 2-iron everywhere in these links golf courses to looking at some of these courses you play on tour, and everyone's pulling driver in places you've never even thought you'd be hitting driver, because they're just like, whack it as close to the green as possible, wedge and put it. That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Like
I played a hole yesterday. It was 430 yards, but it was downwind, and I've managed to catch the back edge of the bunker, and I finished 40 yards from the green. And I was like, I'm this is what Rory must feel like on every hole. This must be amazing. Just bomb it, wedge it, putt it, sweet, next hole. That's how it is nowadays. Whereas back in the day, that might have been right. I'll hit a 2-iron, little cut next to the bunker. If it creeps in, I'll be in the back edge of the bunker so I can get to the green. When it's nowadays, right, if I can get drive, or if I can get the big stick on it, I'm hitting it. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm hitting it because I'll be closer to the green. Strokes gained, stats say I can get that onto the green from there, be a bit closer to the hole, and I'll hold it.
Mad, isn't it?
Drake said the same last week, and he was saying about that whenever he plays, he literally hits it as close as physically possible because his short game is that good. Remember the time, Paul, when I had to play and if I had like 280 into a par 5, I had to hit like 9-iron because I couldn't afford to be inside 120 yards.
It was literally, Matt, if it wasn't mid-iron that you could like, at least get it to somewhere he could putt from. If it's not on the green, it's on the fringe. If he had to lay it up to 60 yards, he was laying up to 140. Anything shorter than that, it was either going a foot in front of him or 70 yards through the back.
Wow.
Fun time. That was being at college. That was being in Florida. That's what did it because of the grass. And I think that's the same thing transferring it again. I think when you just watch it on TV and you see them, the short games they've got over there, like you say, playing a lot of high flop shots, it's a completely different type of short game.
Yeah.
It's the level of commitment that takes, and we've just not been used to it in the UK. I think it's something.
Well, I'll tell you a little exclusive for this week. I reckon you'll see a few guys proper duff a chip this week because so short and long on line of the green is just runoffs, but fairway, and then it's grain, and the grain is soft, and it's just And Paul, I was talking to Graham Walker last night. I was talking to Graham Walker about it. And it just So I've been playing in Florida and I've been playing on quite nice Bermuda grass and it's fine. But this stuff is like wiry and quite soft and you're not getting your lob wedge on it. So you're having to play something and it'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully I'm not one of those guys that you see do it and then you bring it back up. But I reckon there'll be a few people who do it this week.
Scabby lie, scabby shot. That's what it is. Scabby lie, scabby shot. That's
it. Duff and run. Just play it hard.
You say scabby lie, scabby shot out. It's like some of them, like it's pristine fairway. It's absolutely pristine. Yeah, it's just... But you get it 1 millimeter, like a hair chubby, and it's going literally 6 inches in front of you. It's horrible.
Yeah. Probably not the best conversation to have pre-tournament.
I'm just going to spend all afternoon on that short game area.
Perfect. Like speaking of Al and saying about Padraig and Ryder Cup and all that, you obviously came so close last time we were, obviously last Ryder Cup and everything.
Yeah.
You kind of like. I remember someone saying you've given the captain a proper headache with what you did in the run up to it, and then obviously going to when you won in Denmark as well. I think Al was you birdied last 5 holes, was it?
5 of the last 6. Did you 5 of the last 6 and then birdied the playoff hole? So birdied, 6 in 7.
Birdied 2 of the playoff holes. 3 of the playoff holes. 2. Yeah. Because
I don't know. Every time whenever you've needed to go and do something, you've done it. Is that like something in your personality or something in your mentality, or is it something you train for? I think or what?
I think it's partly everything without actually knowing exactly what it is. I think I prepare for that. So whether it be putting drills, forcing myself not to leave the green until I complete that drill. So then you're prepared on the putting green. So I'll give you an example. Everyone probably knows about these drills. I call it the Donalding drill. So Luke Donald, 4 to 8 feet, 20 putts, you've got a whole 15 of them. And so when you get down to the last row of 8 feet putts and you have to make them, you're under pressure. I feel it on the putting green, I've got an 8-foot putt. I have to make it to not start the drill again, which takes a good 45 minutes, half an hour. And you don't want to start again. But you can't be weak enough to, if you miss it, hit a good putt, you can't be weak and go, oh, I hit a good putt, I'll leave it. You have to start again. So I've been on putting greens and people sometimes have said to me, well, I'm using a lot of energy in that. It's like, well, I'm prepared when I get onto that first green on the first day on Thursday and on Sunday that I've done my preparation. So mentally, I'm ready. And I remember sitting over that last putt in Denmark. I think it was to either win or no. I think it was the first extra. So Steve Brown's hit it in stiff, and he's really close. And I've got like an 8-footer downhill right to left. And I remember looking at the ground, going, "You're prepared for this. You've done all the work."
Yeah. And
so that's after 73 holes of golf or 72 holes of golf. The 73rd hole, I'm prepared, and I rolled it in. And I was like, "Right, I'm not losing this." And then I birdied the next hole, pretty much similar putt. But when you have that in your head, you are like, it's sometimes dynamite. You know, it's so strong. It's stronger than sometimes great technique and whatever that may be. It's just you are physically and you are ready for that moment, and it's so powerful.
Yeah, like I love what you said there, mate. Because like me and Al, we play games against each other. We try and put each other under pressure all the time. You know, I'm lucky I've got a good sparring partner. You know,
yeah,
he can play. I know he makes out he can't sometimes, likes to pretend he's a bit shit when he's actually better than what he is.
Yeah.
But
I won't interrupt, but I like I say, I've been watching the YouTube stuff and I've really enjoyed it. And you do it, Alex, you do everything that we do. But what I will say, and I don't know you as well as Paul does, but what I will say is you talk the stuff through on the YouTube stuff and I really like it. And then I don't think you believe in your head that you can pull that off.
Okay. Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think you need to do this stuff with Paul, right? You need to do it enough times where you can see it happen and then you're starting to believe it. So prime example, my golf over the last 6 months, or from the end of last year to when we played at the Players, change of clubs as well. And I really struggled with the drive. I couldn't really figure it out. This break has been an absolute godsend to me because I've been able to go away and practice and work on my game and work on my swing ultimately as well. But then see the shots that I want to hit, see them on the range, then go on the course and play the shots exactly how I want to. And I've never hit the ball better. I've never played better. I've never swung it better than when now. So I'm ready to go. But I've seen it enough to trust it.
Yeah.
And I can step up on any tee and go, right, I've done this enough times. And just like the putting drill, I'm ready, I'm prepared. I've done it with my driving stuff, I've done it with my irons. Way better now. And that's what you need to get to, because you talk perfect, you talk exactly how we would. But then I think it's the trust and the ability to have that memory in your memory bank that you've got this shot. Yeah. And you've done it enough times, and it's just then free flowing, and then you'll pull it off.
Yeah, absolutely spot on, because I get obsessed with, like, Paul's lent me his TrackMan, and all I do is just go on that all the time in my garage, honestly. And I've got to a stage where, like, the numbers are good. I'm like, that's it, that's the numbers, but it's literally one swing, 8 iron. I'm like, that's the numbers I want. I'm like, one shot, like, you never. The chance me playing that one shot, full 8 iron in a round of golf, just full dead straight ball, like
off that line, no wind. Where's the pin? What are you trying? There's so many different variables, which is really hard. But that is golf. You can't go there, right? It's just a normal 8 iron middle of the green. That's just not it. Yeah. It just never is. But that's the beauty of golf. But it's also the hard part to get in your head. But yeah, I think it's such a powerful thing to be able to do, is to have in your memory all of the stuff that you've been able to achieve, and then let it go when you're going to play.
Yeah. Do you still work with Rocky?
Yeah, we're still Rocky and Liam.
Yeah, because you really, obviously you came out, you did well, but then you really just, turned that volume knob right up, didn't you? And you just pushed on. Was that around the same time you started seeing Rocky and Liam? I
asked Rocky, didn't know him from Adam. I went to, we were at the Irish Open at Ballyliffin, maybe?
Yeah.
No, Port Stewart, my first year on tour. And Rocky, he was my swing idol. I loved watching him play. And then I'm out on tour and I've just
He's my hair idol. He's my hair idol.
Yeah,
I want hair like
he's
him.
good.
That's what I want.
I've just had this blasé moment where I went up to him and said, "Hey mate, Matt Wallace, any chance that you could have a look at my swing?"
Mike, it's Mike.
And sorry, Mike Wallace. Yeah, and he said, "Don't you mean Mike?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure, no worries." And then he sent me. Oh, he said, "Send me some videos, and because this is on like Tuesday. Send me some videos, and I'll see you next week on Monday." So I was like, "Sweet." He sent me a text that night saying, "How'd you get on?" And I was like, "No good." And he goes, "Right, I'll see you in the morning at 7 o'clock. I've got something to tell you." So he's then gone down to the range, and we've worked on a few things, and I've started birdie. I'm like, unreal. He's been amazing. Not only has he helped, and you'll know this, Paul, like brilliant guy, amazing coach, but he'll also tell you stuff other than the golf swing. So he's obviously gone down the stretch with Tiger, and he'll say, "Listen, I was pegging it up and I wasn't expecting to win because it's Tiger. I wasn't expecting it. All I'm doing is trying to do my game." And ultimately, that's what made him win. They played in a 3-ball. I think he played with either Peter Hansen or Robert Carlson.
This was Abu Dhabi, wasn't it?
Yeah, he believes that because he didn't think he should have won the tournament, that just freed him up to play, and then he found himself in a position. So that mindset that he had, rather than, there's other players that would be totally different where they'd need to get focused to play their golf. He was more like, well, I shouldn't win this, but let's try and get second place. And then he found himself winning because he relaxed and he played pretty good stuff.
So many people are different, aren't they, in that way? Like, Matt, watching you from what I've seen in tournaments, I imagine you need that. Like that. Like Denmark, you probably needed that. I don't know, you can tell me different whether it was on your mind or not, but you probably needed that potential Ryder Cup spot. I know you didn't get it in the end.
100%.
Potential Ryder Cup spot to sort of say, I need this focus. But does that, from the start of that last round, does that kick in straight away? Or is that like you weren't like leading the last 5-6 holes? Did you say, right, Matt, you've got to do something now? Was that a conscious thing that you've got the Ryder Cup, you need to do it?
The beauty of actually winning the tournament is there's so many subplots to that day that nobody knows about. It's brilliant. So we're playing with my mate, Callum Shinkwin, who Dave, at the time, my caddy, is caddied for him before me and stuff like that. So I was like, "Dave, do not talk to Callum. We're not talking to him." And he's my mate. We've grown up playing golf together. Like, I was like so focused on winning and so hyped. Don't talk to him. Anyway, first 6 holes, we're both playing terribly. I'm like, I think I'm 1 over, relatively easy-ish golf course where under par you have to be for the first 6. And he was over par as well. And then I got into the 8th hole, the par 5, and I was like, what am I doing? And I said to Callum, "Come on, mate, let's go and do this. Let's catch up." So I reeled off a birdie on 8 and 9 and 10. And then I'm away, like I'm off. And then I get onto the 12th hole and wang it. Short hole, drivable hole, 3-wood. And I wang it into the trees and make bogey. And I thought, well, that's me over. But then caddy Dave, best thing he's ever done in our time together was I hit it just on the left-hand side of the green, about 35 feet. And he says, "I know you can make this." Just after I made bogey, hit a decent shot, rolled down as a tier. And he goes, "I know you can make this. Hold it." Boom, I'm off again, you know, and that's when I made those birdies. And I was like, and then I got down to the last hole and I saw Westy and Jigger and I think Brownie were all around 18, 17, 18 under, and I had a putt on the last to go to 18 under. I had to make it. And it was just like, I have to make this. And I don't mind that pressure, you know, I don't mind the times where you have to do something because that's all you can do. There's no yes or no. It's like, I have to do this. Put a great stroke on it, hit it over my spot, went in, fist pump. I was like, that's how you finish. And then I said, hug Dave, and I said, listen, if that's not enough, we've done everything we possibly could. That's good enough for me. And then we managed to get into the playoffs.
Like, for me as a player as well, it's actually quite refreshing to see someone as emotional, as animated, as passionate about what they want to go and do. I think it's actually quite infectious when you're around those sort of people. Like, how many people now do you see where the tournaments go?
Yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Cheers.
I think partly my problem was coming out on tour and it being so fast the success, that I probably couldn't deal with it emotionally that well. I probably couldn't, because I wanted it so much, and like everyone does, everyone wants it loads. Because I did it so fast, I probably couldn't deal with the failure very well.
Yeah.
And that's just being honest. And I think I've managed to. I'm way better at that. I'm not turning into a robot, but I definitely feel myself mellowing out a lot more, because I understand that. I understand the negatives. I understand that you can't win every week, and I have my small gains that I need to improve at. But like I said before, I'm in a great position now where if I don't win this week, that's okay. It might be next week, because I'm in a brilliant position compared to where I was at the end of last year.
I think what you've said there, Paul, and we've spoke about it a lot, about knowing your own game and knowing what works for you. If everyone becomes the same, and I think that's kind of a little bit bred, and you've got to be a certain way. If you're not, and granted, like, you can't be losing the plot all the time, which I've kind of learned that over the years.
Go on, Angry Al.
So if you've broken Paul's clubs, to be fair, they were actually...
I've never broken a club. Can you believe that? I've never broken a club.
I did one. I think I've only...
Paul's like, what?
Hang on.
I broke one because it was Paul's wedge as well. But I went to throw it. It was like in the height of my... Honestly, it was the height of my, like, duff like scenarios going on. And I hit like 3 chips and still wasn't on the green. And I turned and I went to like direct my throw back down the fairway, but I'm terrible at throwing. Like, it's unbelievable how bad I am at throwing on anything.
Like, honestly, he's right-handed, Matt, and you think he's thrown with his left hand.
Yeah,
it's that bad.
So someone says, just throw that over here. I'm like, nah.
No.
I'll
walk.
I hooked my throw. I was throwing it that way and it went that way. And it went straight into a tree and the club just went ping and exploded. I was like, ah. And he was laughing. I was like, are you laughing at? That's your wedge. I think people, and we've spoken about it before, I think being yourself, a better version of yourself that works better is the way to go, rather than being a blueprint. This is how you've got to do it, and this is the way you've got to do it. Because I'm sure you work completely different to the way Paul works. And
yeah, Paul, I'd ask you this. Have you ever watched someone and gone, oh, I'm maybe going to try and be more chilled. So if watch Retief play really well and you go, oh, I'm going to be like that this week. Or you watch someone be fiery like Tiger, fist pumping. I need to do a little bit more of that. Because I've found myself do that sometimes. Whereas actually my best weeks are where I just don't think about anything like that at all. Yeah,
you just be you, don't you? And I think that goes back to almost not doing your winner's speech as an amateur, coming down to 17th and all that sort of stuff. If you're thinking about how you're going to fist pump, you're not actually thinking about what you actually do in your process.
Everyone's thought of that, and I've definitely thought of that a few times. And then you catch yourself doing it, don't you? And you go, "What are you doing? Get out of your head, man. Get out."
To be fair, I'm a bit older and bolder than you now, mate. I'm past all that, like. But yeah, you do though. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's. I think I look at people on the range, and I quite like people's demeanour. You know how people carry themselves, and how they. Yeah. There's certain players that you look up to, and you go, he's just good at what he does.
Go on and give us someone who you like the look of, like who. Well,
straight off the bat, someone like me is someone like Rory. He still looks like he's having. He still looks like he's happy and he's enjoying what he does. Yeah, but he also looks like, I'm going to rip your head off.
I've had that in Cran this last year.
You know what I mean? He looks like I'm.
It was like there were two different.
I'm going to beat you though.
It was like two different people. Brilliant. It was amazing. He was like, we were chatting away, and then the switch would just turn, and it would be like, "Whoa, that's different." And that was playing time, and then it would switch off, and it would be like chatty time. It's fine, and then it's bang. This is game time, and it's really interesting and cool to watch, and especially be around and play with, because you really get a sense of it when you're playing with them. Yeah. And I'm sure, I wish I had the chance to play with Sevi, but supposedly that was what Sevi was.
You're a Tiger though, haven't you?
I was just going to ask that. Damn,
I could see you winding up to it. I could see you going, and I was like, I'm getting this in.
Oh, Tiger, my mate Tiger.
Tiger, just text him. Can you get him on for us? Is he?
It was quite.
Hi Tiger, it's Mike.
Call him in. I'll send him the code now.
I'll ask him. Alex and the Biff want you on. Is that all right?
Hi Tiger. It's Mike. It's Mike.
Yeah.
Come on. Can you go on this panel for me, please?
My first encounter with him, and this is the beauty of having the name of Wallace, because it comes quite close to Woods in the locker room. So I'm standing there next to him in the locker room. I said, this is at Mexico, WGC, 2 years ago. I said, hi Tiger, can I get a picture? Is that all right? So I got a picture, and it's a picture on my Instagram. And I didn't know how to smile. I was like, anyway. So a year later, I'm drawn with him in the Open. I mean, doesn't get any better for me, that first 2 rounds. So obviously, you can get lucky and play with him on a Saturday or Sunday. But to play 2 rounds with him in the Open is amazing. And I was buzzing. I wasn't nervous, strangely, because I prepared well. I was buzzing. And then I saw him hit it up the left-hand side at Portrush. And I was like, oh, he is human. And I flushed one down the middle. I was like, I'm away. I'm good to go. And then afterwards, I did find out that he probably had some back issues that week.
I was going to say, it was cold and horrible, wasn't it?
I was fist pumping on his birdies. That's how I felt like a fan. There's a brilliant video of he birdies the par 3 6th, I think it is. And it's a big putt like this, and it went in dead weight. It was amazing. It was like, when he held that chip shot and the Nike ball just toppled in. Yeah. This Bridgestone just toppled in like this. I was like, that's amazing. And I was like this. I was like that walking down. I was like, that's amazing. And I was just a fan. I was a fan. And yeah, it was brilliant. He's a cool dude.
That's how I worry Al would be if he played with Tiger. I think.
Yeah, I think I'd be banned from. I'd be like taken out.
Al shaking his hand on the first tee. I don't think he'd let go. I think he'd just walk hand in hand with Tiger.
For as long as he could. Now, yeah. Back to the golf side of things. Your golf match. So your PGA Tour this week. So it's Wednesday today. We're filming this on before tournament week starts tomorrow, obviously. What's your sequence of events run up to tournaments? Because I mean, I know Paul's might be probably different because you don't like getting there that early, Paul, do you? You want to get probably Tuesday in an ideal world, wouldn't you? Walk 9 holes, play 9 holes, and I know a lot of people maybe play
the bar. Paul, would that differ to courses you haven't been to?
I do the same thing now, mate.
Yeah.
I actually see more walking than I do playing, so I'll walk 9, play 9.
You walk with a wedge, don't you? Normally, a wedge.
Yeah, wedge and a putter. Yeah, just get around the greens.
I've seen you do that before. So
the only time it would differ is off a very funky grass and altitude. I'd probably hit more shots on the course just because. Just need to figure out a little bit more, especially going into greens, how it's going to spin, if it's going to kick on or whatever.
Yeah, South Africa, places like that, you'd be like that.
Yeah.
So I'm more, because of this preparation. We've had time off, so this is kind of like the start of the season. Again, I've had time to prepare for this tournament for some time, and playing Colonial, never played it before. I've just started with a new stats company and got my course guide, all my stuff like that 2 weeks ago. So I'm preparing, I'm getting the bag set up ready for every sort of possibility, every wind direction, all of that sort of stuff. Figured out this week that you get very rarely do you have a shot from inside 80 yards.
Al's dream.
Yeah.
I'm good now. What are you doing?
Al, you should get yourself out here. Come and play this tournament. It's perfect for you.
I'm good now. I asked for an invite and then nothing.
Nothing. You can't believe it. So 125 to 200 yards is just the game this week. Small greens, leader in green and regulations last 5 years has won. Lag putting is important because you're hitting these greens, but they're quite small. But green and regulation is the key. And from 125 to 200 yards is my zone. So that's what I set up on TrackMan on the range. So those are the areas and yardages that I'm doing. I've put a 62-degree lob wedge in instead of my 60 because I don't have any shots from inside 80 yards. So it's all outside that zone and then short game. So if you do miss the green, which is very difficult, it's higher percentages of non-up and downs this week. So it's harder around the greens because of the grass and stuff like that. And I found the 62, it's able to come out and I can hit it. And I was talking to Graham last night about it, and I don't have to open it up, so it won't catch the top of the club face. I'll hit more of the middle of the club face without opening it up, and it'll go up higher and it's softer. And so there's setups, you know, for every tournament that may be different. And I've got some great stuff. I've got some great information and knowledge before a tournament has come. So I got here on Monday, haven't played the course before. So I played 9 holes with Fitzy on Monday. I played 18 holes yesterday. And then the world's my oyster today. If I feel like I want to play 9 holes, I can play 9. I'm going to do my putting drills, so I'm prepared. So that's my main focus today, is my putting drills. And then I'll look at potentially a few things like lag putting, which is important for this week. And then if I'm going to hit balls on the range, I'm going to do my 125 to 200 drill.
Cool.
I've not known that level of preparation in tournaments. Like, something that I've certainly not done in events that I've played on Euro Pro and stuff in the past is doing that sort of preparation specific to a golf course. That's opened my eyes, really.
Well, if you think of Tiger, right, he doesn't play a lot. He isn't just at home hitting shots. He's preparing for that week that he's coming up. He'll do all of his stats. He'll do all of his data. And a prime example is Liverpool, Hoylake, when he won there. He's hitting 4 irons into par 4s where people would be like, that's a bit suspicious, you know, that's a bit suspect. But he's prepared for that. And he just knew he needed to get it on the fairway, get it on the green and play from there. And he just ran away with the tournament because that was his game plan. He obviously executed the game plan really well as well. But without that preparation beforehand, it wasn't just something he came up with that week. It would have been planned in advance. And he executed to his game plan perfectly. And I think he's probably one of the best persons to follow and do that in the world of golf.
You don't mind changing your clubs literally like the day before, do you? Like, I could never throw in a different wedge that I haven't used a little bit and had a week or two with.
Well, this is the thing. I kind of know your system. Obviously, we're working with Graham and stuff. I know he was adamant when we started working. He was adamant when you change club, the club is fitted to you, not a new club. So you go and take that new club away. You do your 60-yard shot, and if it doesn't go 60 yards, you are changing that club.
Yeah,
fact.
Goes in the bin. Yeah,
fact. So, Alex, this is how important I think clubs are. And I haven't just chucked in a 62 for this week. I've had it for 2 weeks. And so I know the yardages that I can get with it and the positions that I can get with this shot. And it was all geared up to the fact that I don't have any 80-yarders and in from this week, you know. And I need to prepare as well. So if I'm out of position on a par 5, let's say, I can't hit that to 90 yards. I have to hit it to 100 to 105, 110 and out, whatever, because that's where I'll be in my zone that I can play a distance control shot. If I get a 90-yard shot this week, I'm going to be in a bit of trouble because I can hit a 90-yard shot, but it won't be as controlled as, say, 100, 105.
I think that knowing you've got that comfortable yardage you can go to. I've said this all the time to people, just generally, just your normal club golfers, you can work so much on distance control, and it's something that no one does, really. No one does it. Get one shot that you know goes 85, 90 yards, whatever it is. Just make that shot, hit that shot 100 times over and over again. And all of a sudden you've got 6 yardages because you've got your 3 wedges, different grip positions, and you're flying.
I think what's hard is the execution though. Sometimes there's the strike. You know, like people go and work on their wedges and they might flush one and go, oh, that's it, and then try and do it again. They might hit a little fat, little thin, whatever, and it doesn't go that yardage, and it kind of messes with their head a little bit. So execution, flight and strike, I kind of deal with it myself. If I can strike the ball and flight it how I want, that should be the right distance.
Yeah.
Accuracy will vary with that a little bit, but if I can strike it how I want and flight it that sort of trajectory that I need, that will be in that area, that 3 band, that 6-yard band area that you need.
Yeah,
wedges are probably my worst part of my game. I happily admit that, but working on it, that's one area. And that's why I went to Graham, and I've watched you, Paul, and I've seen Tommy's wedge players just gone another level from doing this sort of stuff. And that's what I needed to do. I wanted to add that string to my bow, that if I'm out of position, can you get that up and down, or be really confident you can get that up and down? And then how much easier does your driving become? You know, when you know that if it doesn't quite go right, you can chip it to that area and you're going to get that up and down. So it's a real strong part of the game, I feel.
Like back to what we were saying there about clubs, though. Like for most handicap golfers and stuff and amateurs, I've always said find a wedge that goes 100 yards, because then once you've got something that goes 100 yards, you know a half shot goes 50, a 3/4 shot goes 75. Take a little bit off it, it's a 90% shot goes 90 yards. You can feel all that sort of stuff relatively easily, but you've got such an easy base to work from. It's a 100-yard club, it's a 100-yard full shot. What's a half shot? 50 yards.
Yeah,
not that hard, and you can kind of work at it that easily, really.
Just gonna write that one down. I like that.
So coming up, we've obviously got PGA, and then we've got your PGA Tour stuff, and then you've got 3 majors running up. Because they're majors, would you change your preparation earlier on because they're of more importance, or would you literally go into the week and do exactly what you do for a PGA Tour event, a regular European Tour event, whatever it is? Or would you start thinking about the Masters? Obviously, you think about it. The Masters.
I'm already thinking about that 10th tee shot already. The American stuff, so the ones that we've got coming up, you don't really have to change too much, I feel, with your golf game, because as compared to the Open, which is completely different golf, you have to prepare for that. And that's why we come home. That's why we play the Scottish. That's why we play these sort of events, to prepare yourself and get the clubs right, set for that that game, and spin and all this sort of stuff. And your wedges, your bounces on your wedges, you've got to change. And they're all things you've got to kind of put into play. Whereas as opposed to over here, it's more relative to the same sort of stuff each week. So coming up, we've got Harding Park, the Masters, and then is it Oak? I don't know.
Where's US Open?
Is it Oak Hills? Oakmont?
No, it's one of the old ones.
Google.
Wingfoot. That's it.
Well done. Wingfoot. Well done.
Where?
Wingfoot. So
yeah,
I don't know it, but I don't know what the date. That's where Jeff Ogilvy won, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's where Monty could have won it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting with stats. With the data, is that's from that time ago. So the data might be really different now. Like there hasn't been any stats since then from tour events. So actually looking at how they play it back then could be completely different to now. So that'll be an event where we may have to do a little bit more preparation at the course.
That stuff on preparation that's massive. I'm going to go make notes now, write it all down.
Good man.
I need that.
When
I play event again in 2023, whenever that might be.
But again, Alex, I'll just reiterate from watching, and I love trying to figure someone out from their playing stuff. And I know you're doing it on camera, so it might be a bit different as opposed to just playing your focus stuff. Really trust what you're doing, and when you're doing your practice and you see it enough, do it on the course then. Because I see the way you talk about the game, I'm like, fucking hell, that's really good. And your preparation, your routine, and your swings mega as well. But if you get into it and go, I have this shot, I've done it before, you'll be way better than what you are. And you'll bring down the biff. That's more important.
Went a bit
red. Bring down the biff. I love this. It's going to be a hashtag, that, isn't it?
Bring down the biff. Yeah.
This unadopted nickname of the biff. Thanks for that, Al.
Okay.
Bring down the biff hashtag. That's got to be
starting.
Brilliant.
Yeah, you brought it on yourself.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Play well next few weeks, mate. All the best. Be keeping an eye on it.
Catch you later.
That stuff on preparation, mate, is something that's, I think a lot of people can do. Certainly, amateurs playing their home course all the time, because you know what is needed at that course, rather than just standing up, hitting driver, hitting this club. You've got your 3-wood, your second shot club, or whatever it is. I think being prepared is massive. So you'll see everyone walking the golf courses for the Saturday comps now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to club champs. Everyone out there on the night before getting the pins.
Is that different for you listening to Matt? Obviously, because you've only, I mean to say only, PGA Tour wise, you've played US Open. You haven't played a regular PGA Tour, have you? So is that obviously
only the one's WGC,
different?
but that's it. But yeah, it's like, again, you speak to some of the lads. Obviously, I know Matt really well. Obviously, good mates with Sully, who's been over there quite a lot. Obviously, Danny Willett as well. So you speak to them, and everyone comes up with the same same conclusion really of what it's like over there. So you've got an understanding really of what's going to be like before you go.
Yeah.
You know you're just going to have to play well because the depth is so good. So where you could probably scrape a cut in Europe playing a set, you know, if you're not having a great week, you might not be able to do that in the States because it's the cuts are shot, you know, lower. What it seems to me is they just know how to play golf. They just know. And you said it before about college. They just know 65 beats 66. That's all that matters. Score. Yeah. Whack it near greens. Do whatever you can do. Just shoot the lowest score you can that day, and that's all that matters.
And that's all about being used to shooting those low scores.
Exactly.
So we do it, don't we? You go out, we play, and you say, right, just play to make as many birdies as you can. Bogeys, doubles, quadruples, doesn't matter. How many birdies can you make? And then you start playing aggressive. You get used to hitting drivers on holes that you probably wouldn't do normally. So it tests you, completely tests you, puts you under the gun on a tight hole where you go, I need to make birdie. I'm hitting drivers close to the green. Test your short games, you're closer to the greens as it is. And then it gets you dialed into target massively, not fearing missing it, because if you miss it, you're not making birdie anyway. So you're like, right, I've got to hit that target. Because I think otherwise, that's when you can so easily focus on like, can't miss it left because there's a pond, and you end up hitting a big block push or a pull because it's there. It's, mate, why am I not making notes here?
I'll text them to you later, mate. Sound. Record it and watch it back. Record it and watch it back.
That's it. It's recording, so I'm going to watch it back. Thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday.
And I'll see you down the line.
Boom.